In the shadow of the Colloseum, one of the world's most popular tourist attractions, the Colle Oppio Park is home to many of Rome's refugees. A mile north, in the crypt of the Episcopal Church's St. Paul's within the walls, some of those refugees find a breakfast and a host of other resources to survive and to rebuild their lives. The Joel Nafuma Refugee Center is where Jared Grant's vocation has led him this year.
How are you? Good. Good morning, Adama. How are you? It's good to see you. There's very few options for getting breakfast in the morning for the refugees. I mean, a lot of the guys are sleeping on the streets during the night. So being able to come in the morning and getting a hot cup of tea and a small cornetto, even though it's something really simple, it's something that the guys really appreciate.
It's Jared's second year as a volunteer with the Episcopal Church's Young Adult Service Corps program, widely known as YASC. He previously served in Lesotho in South Africa. The two experiences could not have been more varied, but in Jared's discernment for the priesthood, they also could not have been more valuable.
It's been really interesting to compare that year to coming here to Rome. I mean, what's great about the YASC program for me is it's really it's given me the opportunity to see the broad spectrum of what the mission of the church is. Being able to really see that spectrum and then being able to figure out where you fall on it is it's a really incredible and powerful thing.
Jenny Korwan is also working at the refugee center for a few months. She's not long returned from Kenya, where she served for a year with the YASC program.
A huge part of what I believe mission is really uniting churches and uniting people across cultures, and I think YASC gives us an opportunity to build those global partnerships.
I think part of what we're called to do within YASC and within mission of the church is to be present to the parts of society that are harder to see and harder to connect with. The contrast between just the Colloseum being right here, which is one of the most iconic buildings in the world, and something that literally millions of tourists flock to see every year. And then right next to it, you have this park that is almost hidden, and very few people come up here and see the kind of underside of the city. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we work with in the center, is trying to recognize the hidden parts of the city and working with those hidden parts of the city.
Following breakfast, Jared and Jenny distribute hygiene products and items of clothing before heading upstairs to help in the Artisans program, a recent addition to the refugee ministry here, and one that breeds success stories.
We're celebrating today because Saho has gotten his document, 1 year protection, and we are in appeal, but he has 1 year protection. And also Micah has gotten his documents as well. When people talk about the casualties of war, and usually that's like a body count, and for me, one of the casualties of war is going down into the center every day and seeing guys like this who are young and strong and intelligent and speak 6 languages and who are innovative because they've had to be. But for me, that's really one of the casualties of violence and conflict around the world, is that they never really get a chance to live into their full potential.
Jill Rios, who runs this part of the ministry, is married to the Reverend Austin Rios. Like Jared, they're both from the Diocese of Western North Carolina, and they too have served as YASC volunteers.
I think it's one of the most important programs that we have, most of all because you look at things like the Peace Corps, which give people an opportunity to engage other cultures and to learn from other cultures. And that happens wonderfully on the governmental level through that program, but through the church to have concrete missionary activities that are really about companions and transformation rather than just about old school missionary efforts. It's very, very important because I think it opens us up to listening to and learning from each other.
Having this extra staff capacity is just, it's priceless, really. As we say, the harvest is great and the workers are few. So we're so happy to have people who understand this work and come to this work from a faith perspective.
The church is multifaceted. What works in one place doesn't necessarily work in another. We all have challenges, we all have gifts, and so when you bring those together and try to solve problems together and try to live into what it means to be the body of Christ together, I think it's a richer and more beautiful experience.
And the YASC connection doesn't stop there. When Jared leaves this September, Will Bryant, also from the Diocese of Western North Carolina, is coming to replace him. Embarking on his second year in the YASC program, Will is currently serving with the Mission to Seafarers in Hong Kong. In this instance, clearly all roads lead to Rome, but throughout the YASC program, there are many more roads heading in multiple directions. Like the road to Emmaus, it's not so much about the destination as about the journey itself and the people you meet along the way.
I think as I've progressed and I've been able to see what the mission of the church is, I've really begun to believe that I am a missionary. I think we're all missionaries, and I think that YASC is probably one of the greatest examples of that currently happening.
Whatever, you would love to do that.
For Episcopal News Service, I'm Matthew Davis.